Good morning, YouTube. Yeah, I spent my Friday night in bed. Oh, all right. We starting the day with some great drivers here. Yeah, it is illegal to block an intersection like that. Yo, you and the soccer mom fan. And I missed my life because of that asshole. Fabulous. I don't know why it's such a hard concept to wait until there's somewhere to turn before you turn in somewhere. But yeah, that particular entrance into the Costco has become kind of an issue as of late. Anyway, it's what time is it? It's 11:05 Saturday morning. Oh, excuse me. So my agenda for today was to meet up with a friend who's trying to connect me with a woman who's in a band who is also a booking agent for bands and other musical talent. When I was in about a week ago, when I was in Chandler, I'm talking to a general manager of a bar right in downtown Chandler, and I also talked to a bartender at another rather poppin' bar. Both of them said that this woman books their talent. So, and in reference, to me potentially doing karaoke there. So yeah, my friend's definitely trying to hook me up with the right person. And now I wonder if I should, I don't have an appointment. Just to be completely clear, I do not have an appointment with her. I have an appointment with my friend. She just wanted to head over to the booking agent's. She wanted to head over to the booking agent's gig. Their band is playing. And are you coming over? You don't have a signal, dude. Wow, that guy was all hunched over his wheel and squinting. Excellent. Anyway, so yeah, just figured it'd be a good time. That this would be a good time to meet her, the booking agent. I wish I could remember her name. And I know I've been told her name a couple of times, but I've never met her before. Anyway, I would normally be really enthused about this, except for I'm feeling a lot sicker today than I was yesterday. And yeah, there's always so much fear porn, on the radio and on the TV about, and all over the internet about the Wu flu, and particularly the Delta variant. I'm really doubtful that's what I have. I don't feel like I have a fever. Not that I've taken my temperature, but I don't feel like I have a fever. But considering that the pills I'm taking for my sinus infection, it seems like I should be getting better, not worse. It is a call for alarm. At any rate, in light of the current level of paranoia, probably not in my best interest to be out and about at any kind of public place or live music event. When I'm having congestion issues and I'm coughing. But my friend is trying to introduce me to the woman who is performing today. She did invite me to go ahead and come over, and she said she'd check me out. She's a retired doctor, so said she'd check me out. And get me some warm chicken noodle soup. So I'm gonna let her decide whether or not it's a good idea for me to roll with her to the show. many things I talk about start telling stories and then I don't finish them, and I've been meaning to, like on one of these longer drives, which I have right now, I've been meaning to finish some of these stories. Gosh, which one to finish? Let's see. How about the older gals that I gave a ride 2 days ago from it should be 3 days ago. Or would it? I gotta think about this. Wednesday. Or is it Friday, Saturday? It'd be 3 days ago. It's Saturday now. So, oh yeah, go and cut me off, dude. That's great. Somebody needs to inform him he's driving a Kia. So yeah, this was Wednesday afternoon, and Wednesday I just happened to be up in that part of town, so I stopped at Bullock's for breakfast. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but Bullock's has an amazing breakfast deal. If you get in there between 11 and 12 a.m., they open 11, they stop the deal I think at 12. You can get a $2 breakfast. Yeah, most places you can't really get anything for $2. I don't know, maybe a couple eggs over hard or a piece of toast. Even a breakfast Jack in the Box, which is a small breakfast sandwich. It's one I'm really fond of, although I'm still kind of pissed at Jack in the Box right now. Sorry, I'm having trouble focusing because I'm feeling so sick. A sore throat and stuff from all the drainage from my sinuses. Sorry, I'm trying to focus on my driving here. Oh, so yeah, they give a breakfast at $2 if you're there during the right time, and it consists of 2 eggs cooked how you like, a slice of toast, nothing fancy. It's just white bread toast. I don't think there's a choice of breads. A couple slices of bacon, which I think they deep fried, so it tends to be a little on the crispy side, but it's good. You got to really work hard to make bacon not good. And then a hash brown patty, which is also deep fried, and it's not impressive. It's pretty mediocre, to be honest, the hash brown patty, but that's a full meal along with butter and jelly for the toast. That's a full meal for $2. Hard to beat that. And they also have a wide selection of hot sauce if you're into that. And I do enjoy hot sauce in my eggs. I usually get my eggs over hard. I don't like things that are slimy or runny, so yeah, over hard, throw a little hot sauce on it. I'm good to go. So anyway, I got my breakfast, and I was trying to use their Wi-Fi to upload my vlogs, which is, I don't even know why I tried that, because their bandwidth is terrible. I'm convinced their Wi-Fi is connected to a 9600 baud dial-up. I mean, I think it's DSL, but they must be on an extremely low tier of DSL. Now, I do know part of the problem is I'm always kind of in the DJ booth area, and it is it's a fair-sized bar, so I am across the bar, so I know I'm losing some bandwidth by not being closer to the Wi-Fi router, but still, it's just painfully slow. Either way, this freeway squeezes a lane down right here. Like there's way more traffic than at this place at all times. It should be squeezing into a lane. In fact, I think this is one of those freeways that could benefit greatly by just adding different lanes, and as you can see, there's room on the right for it. The overpasses go over farther. Nothing there but dirt and an extra wide shoulder. So. Yeah, this kind of congestion at 11 a.m. on a Saturday is not good. And I made my exit. Go Dan. Anyways, I went there for breakfast and uploading files, and I had a couple. I had gone to Goodwill the day before, so I had some stuff I purchased from Goodwill, and one of those things was a power supply, 12-volt power supply, which I figured would make a good replacement for my microphone power supply, which had ceased working the Thursday before. And it did. I had to reverse the polarity on the tip, but other than that, it was the right voltage, the right amperage, and the right plug. It was just wired center negative, and I needed to just chop it and flip the wires around to make it center positive. So, this looks good. So they were playing bumper cars. Oh yeah, that guy's front end is messed up. I don't know if the camera caught it, probably didn't. But the car on the truck has a pretty messed up front end. Granted, I shouldn't really be critiquing anybody, being that I had just recently had 2 accidents in a week, but just for the record, neither of those did I rear end somebody. Oh man, they're reducing another lane here. Now these lane reductions that happen on this stretch, this stretch should be way wider, if for no other reason than it's a connecting stretch. I mean, there's already a lot of traffic that goes north and south on the Loop 101, but this particular stretch between the 202 and the 60, the Loop 202 and the 60, and specifically I mean the northern Red Mountain stretch of the 202, this particular stretch gets a lot of people like myself that are using it just to get from the 202 to the 60. And I do think this whole section here, if they added 1 to 2 lanes to it, I mean, granted, that would be an obscenely wide freeway. We've got 4 lanes of unrestricted traffic southbound right now, and an HOV lane, which right now is just an unrestricted lane as well. It's all for those who are unfamiliar. And if you're listening, if you're watching this and you live in Phoenix, pay attention. So a lot of people don't seem to understand this and live right here. And it's not a hard concept because it's written on signs like every few feet on the lane. But the HOV lanes on all Phoenix freeways are day parted. You can enter them anywhere, you can exit them anywhere. Unlike the ones in LA where you have specific places where you can and can't get on them. And they're only HOV lanes during weekday morning and afternoon rush. I know in the afternoon it's 3 to 7. So if it's 7:01, it doesn't matter if you're a lone vehicle, you can get in there. You do need to get yourself out of that lane before 3 p.m. rolls around. The rest of the time, it's just a traffic lane. And I'm seeing a whole lot of traffic right now. This road I'm on is really congested, and I'm not seeing, I'm stuck in this right lane because I'm exiting on 60 East in the direction of Bullock. But, see, there's one vehicle in the far left lane. There's a red vehicle. But for the most part, I'm seeing that far left lane completely empty. And, there's another vehicle. But yeah, quite often I'll see congestion when that lane is open. And certainly there would be less congestion if people that were not needing to exit soon would utilize it and free up these other lanes for the rest of us. Anyway, morning rush, I'm not sure what the times are. There's a sign though, 6 to 9 a.m. So hey, there's one of the signs, it's in view. hoping to see it on your screen. 6 to 9 a.m., 3 to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. That's the only time that's a restricted lane. The rest of the time it's traffic lane. Use it. And remember, the left lanes are passing lanes. If you're not doing it, you don't belong there. So don't go in that lane and camp and be slow. If you're going to go slow, get to the right. All right, this is your be a better driver public service message for the day. Anyway, back to Bullock's Wednesday afternoon. Just barely got there in time to get some breakfast, and I brought freshly sharpened pencils. I brought karaoke slips to stock up my books. I had 2 brand new binders. Well, brand new to me. You know, they look new. I got from thrifting the day before. So yeah, I was making my binders look better and stocking them with paper and making sure that I had plenty of sharpened pencils in my pencil case for the show. For some reason, I lose a lot of pencils at Bullock's, way more than any other bar I've ever had. I would say 50% of the pencils that I put out every Thursday, they don't come back the next day. It's really weird. Like, I feel like I'm going, even though I'm only doing 1 show a week, I feel like I'm losing more pencils a month than I normally do. And by normal, I mean when I'm normally doing 5 shows a week. Anyway, I don't know what to think about it, if people are just stealing them, or I have checked to see if they're landing in a pencil cup behind the bar, and they haven't been. So, I don't know. And I have had people tell me, well, you know, people want to steal your pencils because you always use cool-looking pencils. You know, just use shitty golf pencils, and then nobody will want to steal them. But I don't know. I've always liked using cool-looking pencils, especially when I can get a good deal on them. And I figure having a variety of writing pencils is interesting. I encourage diversity in my writing utensils. And also, I look at it this way. If somebody steals a pencil, it's likely steals a pencil because it's a really cool looking pencil. It's likely every time they see that pencil, they're going to think, oh yeah, it's a pencil I saw for the karaoke show. Damn, that was a cool karaoke show. I should go back there. And that's a small price to pay for something that reminds people to go back to my show. Anyway, so yeah, I was working on writing utensils, and mostly just socializing, and working on a couple of Bloody Marys. I stayed there quite a bit. I think they started serving tacos at 3 p.m. So I ended up. This guy's trying to use the right lane. He's passing lane. Here he goes, passing on the right. That is what the left lanes are for. Left lane is passing lane. Right lane is slowing down because you're exiting sewer lane. You know, this is why European drivers make fun of American drivers. And this is why the Autobahn carries traffic so much more efficiently, even though in most places it's only 2 and 3 lanes. European drivers seem to understand the concept of keep right except to pass. Slower traffic, keep right. Left lanes, be actively passing or get back in the right lanes. Yeah, I'm still talking about that. Anyway, meanwhile, back at Bullock's, there's an older woman that comes in there a lot. She usually sits right at the corner of the bar and sips wine. Name is Samantha, and she's a bit of a character, but she's always been nothing but a sweetheart to me. She's always kind of flirty, which is funny because I expect she's my mom's age, maybe older. But it's I'm not gonna lie, I kind of appreciate the attention. I know I don't get much of it, and don't get hardly any of it from the so-called girlfriend. So yeah, she. I'm kind of there chatting with her off and on, and then working on my little projects off and on, and working on my internet stuff, and I'm also taking advantage of gosh, I'm on Reddit and I'm on YouTube, just kind of doing my thing. And she, anyway, I walked back to pay my tab before I head out, and she's got a friend that was sitting with her, which I chatted with on occasion. And her friend had seemed a little on the bitchy side, but I mean, I wasn't really talking to her, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But anyway, I walked back, and that was mostly when I came over. I was chatting with Sam. Ouch. Anyway, I go back, and they're also clearing out their tabs. And they said, one of them, I forget which one of them mentioned, hey, let's, why don't you call an Uber? I'm like, well, if you're going close, I can give you a ride. No problem. I'm about ready to head out myself. And she's like, oh? And I said, yeah, where are you going to? I don't forget which one of them answered, but I said Ain't Nick's, which I've been wanting to go by Ain't Nick's anyway. Not that I took advantage of that, because with them in tow, I figured it made such a bad impression that I didn't want to try to talk to an owner or a manager. But I've been meaning to get to Ain't Nick's. Their weekend karaoke host had mentioned to me that they might be looking for somebody for the weekdays. And they've got an odd setup in that they actually provide a house system and a space to connect your laptop. Basically, they expect their karaoke host to have their own library and their own laptop. And they are providing a mixer, microphones, and a microphone receiver already connected to it, centrally located, to get good reception from the singers. And a really decent PA. Just bring your laptop and connect, which is odd. Like, I mean, I've done some shows that way. Well, I don't use a laptop, I use a desktop, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I've done a show where I just bring my computer and connect and everything else is there. Usually I bring more than that. Up including but not limited to everything. I mean, shoot, I've even had some places where I've been the one providing the screens because it's a venue that doesn't have TVs. So, anyway, I've been wanting to, he never really got back to me regarding that, like, and every time I kind of mentioned to it, it's like, hey, did you talk to the owner? Talk to the owner about me hosting there? He's like, well, what other leads have you got? Blah, blah, blah. And it just kind of seemed like after he had talked a lot of game about trying to help me out, hey, look, there's somebody on an electric scooter crossing a multi-use path. Nice. That guy's slowing way down. There's a guy in front of him slowing way down. Yeah, that guy's looking at his phone, probably. So anyway, I kind of quit bugging him about it because it was obvious that wasn't going anywhere. And I never went back to talk to the owner of the bar because I didn't want it to feel like my friend that's the weekend KJ there. I didn't want it to feel to him like I had just kind of circumvented him. You know, I mean, he said he would talk to the owner for me. I didn't want it to seem like I just went above his head and talked to the owner. Now, I don't know what his position is, if he's just simply the weekend host or if he kind of manages the other host. He sort of implied that he manages the other host, but I really don't know. At any rate, at this point, it's been long enough since I've talked to either of them. I thought it would be a good time for me to go by. And, at this point, any day is a good day, except for when I'm feeling sick like this. Good to go by Ain't Nick's and try to talk to the owner or the manager about that. And when Sam and her friend had mentioned, oh, we're going to Ain't Nick's, and Ain't Nick's, by the way, is about a mile. Yeah, it's just about exactly a mile north of Bullock's. So I'm already conveniently close. You're going there. I want to go there. Yeah, this is perfect. So clear out some back seat. Front seat's already kind of cleared out. We drive over there. Pleasant short ride over to Ain't Nick's. And we started hanging out at Ain't Nick's. And I'm trying to remember the conversation. It got awkward and weird more than a couple of times. And I tend to be a pretty blunt person, especially when I'm having a conversation in the bar and drinking. But anyway, at one point they go to cash out, and not Sam but her friend just starts getting the bartender cuts her off. Really young, cute gal who I've seen before, and she'd given me the Wi-Fi connection, and the Wi-Fi at Ain't Nick's is not bad. It's not particularly, it's not exactly lightning fast, but it's not painfully slow either. So so I'm getting more done there, upload wise. And I've also got my my Droid 4, which I still haven't successfully done anything useful with. I'm getting it more. I'm trying to make some progress with it. Oh, and the status of that is really not changed. I haven't worked on it a lot the last couple of days, but when I'm at home and I've got my fast Wi-Fi, I keep trying to update it, and it just seems like at this point Android is pretty Google dependent. I mean, Android is a Google operating system, and in order to really make Android work at this point, you need Chrome, you need the Play Store, I need Gmail. I mean, I do my email in Gmail, and I also use Google Drive. Those are Google and YouTube, duh. And I just can't seem to get any of those things to update. At this point, they've just become so bloated that they just won't operate in that environment, and that kind of bums me out. Because I've long been a fan of running older computers, sometimes much older computers, and I've been successful at running much older computers, even with obsolete and discontinued operating systems, because what I've done is when an update comes down, and I'm talking particularly like Windows 95, 98, Windows XP, when I get a notice that there's a software update available, I would usually check to see, hey, what features does this add? What bugs does this fix? And if it didn't strike me as anything that I needed to deal with, I would just keep using the version I was using, as long as the version I was using continued to work well. And that resulted in older computers that were very functional, because I'm not trying to choke them with new software that exceeds, that it demands more resources than they have. Yeah, there's just no way to do that in the Android environment. There's no way to. I can't go to oldversion.com. At least I don't think I can. If I can, and somebody knows how to do this, please point me in the right direction. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me how to make it work. But I don't think any of the apps will look at what hardware I have and go, oh yeah, this is the older version that is the most powerful older version that will run well. It'll be stable in your operating environment. And Google doesn't make a point to make their server infrastructure functional with older versions. Every time they new version, and they'll change kind of how their servers, how their backend interacts with it. So if you've got a really old version of the Play Store because you have an old device, or you have an old version of Gmail, it's not going to work. I mean, I've got lots of standalone Blu-ray players that, when they were sold, supported YouTube, and they don't support YouTube anymore. And there's not an update available for them. They just no longer do what they were built to do. And it bums me out, because now I think my Droid 4 no longer does what it was made to do. And granted, I mean, by modern standards, it's an old phone, but I'm really bothered by the shelf life of technology. Especially when you consider that I have a turntable that was built in 1979, and it's still completely performs what its function that it was built to do all these decades later. My car, made in 2006, it still does absolutely everything that it was built to do. I don't know. Backwards compatibility is just kind of a lost thing now. And wow, I am almost to my destination. So, I need to wrap, and I still haven't finished the Sam and her bitchy friend story, so I need to wrap that up. Oh gosh, how do I sum this up? As if you're still listening and paying attention. About a 30-minute drive to here when I don't make wrong turns and get caught in traffic. Good to know. Anyway, yeah, so at one point I had handed the bartender my card, and my tab wasn't much. I think I just had a pitcher of beer. I don't think I had anything more. I think I just had a pitcher of beer. And the bitchy friend got cut off. He said the bartender said she wasn't going to serve her any more drinks, and she just got really belligerent. The woman, not the bartender. The bartender was trying really nice to be diplomatic and friendly. She got really just bitchy and belligerent about it. And mind you, at the same time, there is a torrential downpour. We're sitting by a window and looking out the window. It looks like a hurricane out there. There's just like wind and rain coming down in sheets, and it's which is not normal Phoenix weather. So of course I don't drive in that kind of weather unless it's a dire emergency. Unless I absolutely need to get to work and I have an employer that's not going to respect the fact that I don't feel safe driving in that, or I need to take a friend to the hospital, I'm not driving in that. And anyway, yeah, she just keeps, the other woman just keeps upping her bitchiness, and her bitchiness like really had become on display since we've been sitting there anyway. And apparently she's going through something with a guy and she's real upset about that, but don't take that out on me. I mean, my Lily's mom used to like to say the best way to get over a guy is to get under another one. And yeah, she's certainly not going to get under any guy with that kind of attitude. So just realized I need to swing by Circle K and get my free drink. I've gone like 2 days in a row without getting my drink that I've paid for to sip and save. I need to do that right now. My friend never has much to drink there that I like. So do that. Buying myself some more time to finish the story. Anyway, as she's arguing real belligerently with the bartender, and to be honest, I don't blame the bartender for cutting her off. I mean, she seemed like she'd had enough. I've rarely ever been cut off by a bartender like that. I'm usually pretty, to be honest, I don't really drink a lot, and on the nights where I am kind of drinking, I'm usually pretty cognizant of when I've had enough, and I stop. I've never been very rarely ever been told, yeah, Dan, you've had too many, and I'm not going to serve you another one. But anyway, so at this point, like, I had given her my card prior to her having the bartender, prior to her having the argument with the rather bitchy woman who was being cut off. And she starts, look, blah, 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 you and your friends, which I felt kind of included me, and I was like, whoa. And at that point, I interrupted. I'm like, whoa, so what have I done, ma'am? I'm just trying to tab out. And she's like, I'm sorry, not you. I'll get you in just a minute. But it was like, don't include me with a group that when I've done nothing. I've done nothing belligerent. I'm not a fan of the whole concept of guilt by association. Anyway, so she goes to run the tabs, And the woman that just got cut off is, man, there was no way to turn left into the Circle K. That sucks. I can do it here. There's a no turn sign where the median ended. So she it's like, yeah, we're gonna get out of here. This place sucks. Yeah, I'm not really wanting to go anywhere because it's pouring rain, really, really pouring rain. And I told her that. She's like, oh, well, we're just going across the street. I'm like, well, how? We can walk across the street. And the street that we're on is 27th Avenue. So by across the street, I'm assuming she means across 27th Avenue. That's what she said. Now we are about like one business south of Glendale, so maybe she means across Glendale. But to me, across the street can only mean one of two places: on the other side of Glendale Avenue or on the other side of 27th Avenue. You know, she did mention the name of the bar. It's something I'd never heard of. You know, believe it or not, I'm not familiar with every bar in Phoenix. Sometimes it seems like it, but I'm not. And she so it's too far to walk. I'm like, well, you just said it's across the street. I'm fit enough to walk across the street. I don't, you know, that's how you figure it's too. Well, it's across the freeway. Like, well, why'd you lie to me and say it was across the street? Across the street and across the freeway are not the same thing. And she just got so bent out of shape when I called her out on that. But I mean, don't lie to me. If it's across the freeway, say it's across the freeway. If it's across the street, say it's across the street. Yeah, across the freeway is farther than I want to walk. Across the street, even if the weather was nice, I would walk there. Anyway, I told her, you know, in no uncertain terms, that I was not driving until the weather mellowed out. And then she started getting just belligerent with me, you know, calling me oh, this guy's scared to drive, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on, you need to take us. I said, oh, I need to. I said, you need to give me $100 bill. And she's like, what? She looked at me all crazy. She's like, what? I don't owe you a $100 bill. I'm like, I don't owe you a ride anywhere. And she's like, let's get out of here. And Sam went with her. I'm like, your friend's an asshole. I don't know. Am I the asshole? I think in that situation, she was the asshole for demanding a stranger give her a ride. A stranger who owed her nothing. And, you know, on retrospect, I don't think she even thanked me for the first ride. She certainly didn't give me any gas money or pay me for the services of the first ride. So, yeah, bitch, I don't owe you a ride. Anyway, so kind of relieved that she had left. A little disappointed Sam had left, but, you know, whatever. In fact, I'd even kind of asked Sam to stay there and, you know, hang out with me, but she didn't. Now, in the midst of all of this, during the rain, prior to the bartender coming over, there had been a woman to come in and I chatted with, rather attractive woman, looked to be around my age, with a dog that was some kind of Chihuahua mix that she found on her way into the bar. And the dog was really chill and just so flippin' cute and was just very affectionate to me. I don't know what it is, but Chihuahuas, unless they bark at me and hate me, most Chihuahuas or Chihuahua mixes just love me. I don't know why it is, because I don't get on with most dogs, but I do with Chihuahuas. And this one was no exception. And anyway, so I'd been kind of paying attention to the dog before. So after Sam and her bitchy friend had left, I went back to I was sitting at my table and I'm just kind of working, and I got three phones in front of me. I got the Droid 4, the Obama phone, in my iPhone, and between YouTube and Reddit and Gmail and Discogs, I have more than enough to keep me occupied. So, but I noticed that the nighttime bartender that's usually there on the weekdays when I'll pop in and sing for a little bit, and that's like my second karaoke bar. If I'm karaoke bar hopping, like if I'm at a bar and it's just dead, I'm like, well, let's see who's 8 Nicks. And I expect 8 Nicks is going to be dead, but the bartender, she's super cute and super friendly, and the draft beer prices are really cheap there. And the if it's dead, I mean, I might get to sing 2 songs in the last hour of the night, so that's a win for me. And maybe I'll meet somebody, probably not, but I'll at least get my beer and get my songs in, get a little vocal practice. So It's just a win in my book. So anyway, I recognize the bartender there, and she's like, oh, I've never seen you this early. And so I started chatting her up and petting the dog, and I walked back to my table, and I noticed that there's a business card there. And at that point in time, I had forgotten Samantha's name. So I just see, or not a business card, I'm sorry, a credit card. And at this point, I figure they've left. So I walk the cart over to the bar, and I'm trying to get the bartender's attention, and she's completely ignoring me. So I wanted to give her the card. I'm like, yeah, those two women that were like really belligerent to you, or the woman and her friend are belligerent to you, one of them left a card. I'm sure you'll love this. Couldn't get her attention, so I decided to step outside and see how the rain has progressed. And it's definitely mellowed out, but it's still raining to the point I don't know, I'd have probably been comfortable driving in it at that point. But I walked out, and they're still sitting out front waiting for the Uber. And, which of course I would imagine a whole lot of Uber drivers, as soon as the weather gets like that, are just like, yeah, I'm not paid enough to do this shit. It's not worth the risk to my vehicle and my driving record to drive in this for people that don't tip me. I'm done. People that are super cheap about their transportation, I'm done. I'll park, go home, wait this stuff out. I mean, even when I was a cab driver and I got paid good money for driving, I would usually stop when the weather got like that. It's not worth it to me, not worth the risk. I'm usually way ahead of my lease at any point in time anyway, so, whatever. I bought some safety time off. It's time for me to enjoy my turntable or my other electronics, or maybe go see a movie close to a theater, what have you. So, I walk out, and they're, I think I left the credit card on the table. I'm like, hey, and at this point, I'm trying to kill her with kindness. She's been excessively bitchy. I would say she'd crossed the line into cunty with me. And I'm just trying to be friendly. But at the same time, stand firm on the fact that you're not taking advantage of me and bullying me into giving you a ride. I don't owe you a ride. I'm not your transportation. And you're a grown-ass woman, handle your own transportation. I've not promised you any transportation. But, but at the same time, just trying to take the high road and be friendly to her. Anyway, so I had come in, and I was like, hey, you left I'm surprised you're still here. You left your credit card on the table. And so I go back to the table to get the card and give it to her, and she's like angry. This isn't my credit card. Well, it comes to turn out it was Samantha's credit card, which kind of has, now I'm kind of committed her name to memory because I've seen it on that credit card. But Samantha seemed very crazy. She's just like, thank you so much. And I'm just like, contrary to your friend's attitude, I am a nice guy. I try to be anyway. I try to treat other people like I'd be treated. Of course, I would never demand other people that don't owe me a ride to drive them around. She just kind of nodded at me. I smiled and walked back in the bar. So anyway, yeah, I finally finished that story and wasted 44 minutes of video. I'm gonna have fun trying to get this thing uploaded. Anyway, I'm going inside and get my sip and save drink, and then head over to my friend. Hopefully I didn't take too long getting to her. Thanks for watching.